used as a natural fire break, really. One of the Nike silo sites is in there. That's at the bottom of your screen. So that's a site, obviously, that you know, is going to serve as a landmark that fire crews are going to use. And you can see a lot of helicopters flying through our shot, and that's definitely what we want to see, because all those helicopters are working to drop a lot of water on this fire now as it moves slowly down Mandeville Canyon. Unfortunately, we did lose one home in Mandeville Canyon, and fire crews are really doing their best to try and prevent any further loss in Mandeville Canyon. There's a lot of resources in that canyon, and they're going to do everything they can to prevent any further loss in Mandeville Canyon. Philip and Giovanna. Yeah, Philip, you're absolutely right, and it's not just water. It's dozer crews and hand crews that will go in there by hand. And if you only have a little bit of fire activity there, then they can actually go in by hand and assist in the extinguishment of those flames on this side of the fire. But yeah, the fire is now creeping through some of that retardant. The goal with fire retardant isn't to dump it on top of the fire. It's to make a border around the fire, really, to make that material that the retardant is on harder to burn. So that's what fire crews have done. I already see a pretty long line of that pink hint on the hillside around this, at least this entire corner, this entire northeast corner of the fire. So that's some good news, but that's not an end-all be-all. Fire can jump the retardant, it can burn through the retardant slowly but surely. So definitely not, you know, it's a good sign, but we cannot let our guard down yet. It's still going to be a long time before we get this fire completely out. Even on this side of the fire, we're going to be seeing fire activity for, you know, the rest of today, I would imagine, if not longer than that. This is the West Ridge neighborhood. Summit Desk Air 7 on microwave. Yeah, which side? The west side? Yeah, we'll head there now. The Tarzana side. And did you want to see something specific at the golf course, or just to get eyes on it? Copy that. It is, I mean, it's all the way in Sullivan Canyon. The tanker's on the left side. Oh, it might hop. Oh. Yes. This is the north side. This is where they have the fire line on Mulholland Drive. Yeah. Not really, because I think they want us to look at something at the golf course. This is something that was known. If it does hop this, then I will talk about it. If it does hop the road. You can, yeah, you can, take it. No, this is on the north, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, whenever you're ready. Wow. It did hold. Copy. Yeah, Philip, this is on the other side of the fire that we've been at, for most of the morning. This is on the western flank. This is near the end of Reseda Boulevard, so the far south end of Reseda Boulevard. And this is the part of the fire that's really putting up a lot of smoke right now. If you're anywhere in the San Fernando Valley, you probably see this. The thing to know about with this side of the fire is, yes, there's a lot of fire activity, but there's a lot of brush down there, and that's where the fire has moved upslope to the very top, to Mulholland Drive, where the natural fire break is. That's a dirt road, a pretty wide dirt road there, and fire crews are aware of this, and they're doing water drops on this side too. But knowing the topography of the area, that the fire would then have to creep back downhill, they're not too worried about this coming any further to the north. That's not to say anybody's, you know, out of the woods yet. Definitely, we all still have to keep our guards up, but the overall trend is that the wind is coming from north to south, basically pushing the flames back towards the south, so back where these flames already came from. Now they ran up the hill, yes, because of the topography, but the next step for this fire, if it were to come any further north, would then be to start making its way back downhill, and that's where it'll slow down. Fire crews understand that, so they're kind of letting this very edge of the fire burn its way right up to Mulholland Drive, and then fire crews will deal with it if it gets any further than that. Now it could come further to the west, and that's where we've seen this fire kind of skip and make runs throughout the course of our fire coverage. As you see, one of the Firehawks there make a amazing water drop right on this thing. Hopefully we'll see an impact there, but there's some flame vortices there just because of all the heat. It creates so much rising air that you get literally a fire tornado, and that's what fire crews actually refer to this as. It's a fire tornado. There's an LA County Fire Department Firehawk going through the top of the picture there. They're going to do a drop on this one. So fire crews are aware of this side of the fire too. They are aware that it is quite active, and it does continue to make a run to the west. To the west, there's a lot of open brush. There's a lot of brush that hasn't burned in many years. There are homes to the west as well, and those homes are already under a mandatory evacuation. So if you are in that area, that's definitely an area of high concern. Encino, though, we're not worried about the fire making any big runs in that direction. Again, not to tell anybody to let their guard down, because we absolutely shouldn't. But the thinking right here is that fire crews are letting the fire burn up to the top of the ridge at Mulholland Road, or Mulholland Drive, Old Mulholland Drive, that becomes a dirt road in this section, and they are just going to let it get to the top of the road, and if it gets any further than that, then they will really hammer down on these airdrops and take care of it at that point. You see one of those airdrops there dropping a load of water right on that hot front, and hopefully that'll make a difference there. You see even a little bit of a change as the water makes contact with the fire, and there's a little bit of a run that we are seeing make that this fire is making to the west, and that is what we're worried about, and that is kind of what we're seeing here. But again, for a good distance here, it's nothing but dry brush, so fire crews may keep their eyes on it, see if it continues to make a run, and then deal with it. But the overall thinking is that it's a lot of downhill from here on this, at least this far northwest corner of the fire, and any movement the fire makes to the northwest would be very slow, and fire crews would be able to handle it. So we see a continuation of water drops. This isn't a forgotten corner of the fire, even though it's putting up a lot of smoke. But what I would tell residents of the San Fernando Valley is to be alert, be aware. But this section of the fire, I don't think is a threat to the majority of the San Fernando Valley at this point. Copy. Assignment Scare 7. No. I'm okay for now. Booth, do you have me? We have to maneuver the helicopter in a way that the skid might get in the way. I would say just start doing it. Start doing what you need to do. What was causing that? Just where the wind's coming from? Oh wow. The wind's coming from that way, right? Hit that 407 again? Yeah, yeah. We didn't air it until 11:30. A fire whirl throwing out spot fires. That must have been what we were looking at. Do you still have any good traffic on V1 or? Assignment to SCAR 7. Hey there, did we want to look at something on the Reseda golf course? We're looking at the north side right now, or sorry, the, yeah, the north side. And there's the golf course right there on the right side. We're just doing a turn with the helicopter right now. Yeah, we have been on the east side most of the morning. Okay, so you don't need to look at anything specific. Okay, copy, thank you. Anyone in the booth hear me? Anyone in the booth copy? Do you still need them off our shot? Do you still need them off your shot? Okay. Renee, are you in transmissions? Do you have transmissions on? Can Can you tell the booth to get off our shot for a second? We have to do something with the camera really quick. We're clear. Thank you. Anything? Oh, we could hear it. We're resetting something on the camera. Copy. Alright, we're good, Steph, we're good. Dozers to the other side of the 405. Dozers to the other side of the 405. Yeah, yeah. Yes, you got me? Check, check, check. Yes, picture good, picture good. Picture's hot. Oh, yeah. Okay, copy. What is that news van? It's a funny looking one. I'm watching the return here. On the screen, Not out there. Yeah, I want to see where it's going. Like, what is that? Topanga Canyon. Okay. Mandeville? Okay. Steph, do you got me? Wow, that flared up. Steph, we're gonna go back to the east side of the fire, Mandeville Canyon. It's putting up a lot of smoke, so we're gonna check it out. Can you put IFB back on Kenwood? Thank you. Go for Gabe. Yes, yeah. Copy. What does it do? It's just... Copy, ready. Not quite up against the wires. I think that's a little bit of a visual thing there going on, but it is getting close to those transmission towers, and when those transmission towers burn, the tower itself won't burn, obviously, but there's equipment and other devices in the vicinity that just, you know, it just adds another layer to this disaster, because when those transmission towers get damaged, you know, that's another thing that crews have to work on to get us back to normal. Those lines probably run down to the Brentwood area, or run to the north towards the Encino area. But, you know, that is obviously in our electricity dependent culture. When you, you know, cut a line of power, that's, it just has huge ramifications. You know, just another little layer to this massive disaster that we're seeing here. We came back over to the Mandeville Canyon side of things. This is the eastern flank of the fire, because we saw it start to put up a lot more smoke, and it does seem like flames and flanks of the flames are inching their way further and further down into Mandeville Canyon. About an hour ago, it was looking good. We're seeing a lot less smoke down in the canyon, but about maybe 15 or so minutes ago, Marcel, our photographer up here in Air 7, noticed a lot more smoke coming up from this side, so we came over here to check it out, and that does appear to be the case. I think a lot of the aerial resources, the helicopters, went over to the west flank of the fire, where that was making a run to the west. Fire crews were saying about 5 to 10 acres were burned going that way due west. So the Topanga area, the any homes around Topanga Canyon Boulevard, all of that is still very dangerous. It's very dangerous to be over there right now. There's a lot of heavy brush, and the fire is definitely making a run to the west. It is still creeping on this side of things that you're looking at now. It is still creeping down the hill, down into Mandeville Canyon. Fire crews are really trying to do their best to prevent it from creeping further and further into the canyon, but it continues to do so, and that's the scary part. You start to see it creep, and then, you know, for a few moments, the fire catches on to you know, a bit of heavy brush, a bit of heavy chaparral, and then that just goes up on fire and produces a lot of heat and a bright red flame, and then that just, you know, has the flames kind of hopscotch further and further down, so a walk becomes kind of a slow, fast walk, and that's definitely what crews are concerned about here now. You're looking at, I believe, Marcel, if you could help me out with the community here. This is the West Ridge community that we've been looking at here, and the fire had been on both sides of the canyon here, but fire crews have been able to knock down the side of the flames on the west, on the east side of the of these homes right here. But this is the entrance to Brentwood, and fire has already kind of established itself on the west side of the canyon here, so still an area of focus here. And fire crews are going around kind of sending all of their helicopter resources to the west side, and then the east side will kind of flare up a little bit, so this fire helicopter resources will come back to the west side. I haven't seen a fire retardant drop in a little bit. I'm sure that the... Oh, and just as I say that, here we go. The DC-10 tanker is fueled up and ready. It is topped off on fire retardant, and it is back in business. So this is just an amazing sight to see, seeing this gigantic plane, this plane that, you know, had a former life as a passenger airline, you know, carrier. Who knows for what airline before that, but I'm just in awe of seeing a plane of this size flying over these, you know, densely populated communities. But that is what's needed here. That is what slowed down this progression of the fire further into Mandeville Canyon, and hopefully with that plane back on scene here, they can continue to make a number of more water drops on this thing and slow down, hopefully again, the progression of these flames down further and further into Mandeville Canyon. Lining up for a drop here. Yeah, that's shorter than I expected. Three zero for fuel. 30 for fuel. Copy that. Okay, R7 standing by. Talking about a new start on the Los Flores. But I don't know how that would be a new start. Maybe just a flare-up. Copy. Yeah. What trailhead was that? Huh. Ready. Yeah, this is the this is the eastern flank of the Palisades fire right now that we've been seeing flare up. This northeastern side of it, the flare up started last night. We've been seeing the continuation of it this morning and into today. This flank of the fire has been inching its way down into Mandeville Canyon. Fire crews are stationed all through Mandeville Canyon. They have structure protection in place. We did unfortunately lose one home near 3300 Mandeville Canyon Road. That's the only home we've seen burn in Mandeville Canyon so far. It is, of course, a very frightening situation when, you know, this fire has been going on for days And we thought after yesterday that things looked to be calming down, and then today we wake up and find another home burning. So that's, excuse me, that's definitely some sad news to report right there. Now you see all these homes there in the center of your screen. That's the, let me check here. We'll get that community there for you there. That is the Mountain Gate community, and it looks very close to the flames, but that is kind of an artifact of the compression of the lens, so those flames look a lot closer to the Mountain Gate community than they actually are. It's still not to say that people in the Mountain Gate community shouldn't, I believe, already be evacuated, because I think that area is under mandatory evacuation, but the flames are still on the western side of Mandeville Canyon. They haven't crossed down and they haven't hit the bottom of Mandeville Canyon and started coming up. That is what fire crews are wanting to prevent, because as soon as the flames start getting on an upward slope, flames love an upward hill, and they'll just race up that hill. Right now they're creeping down. There's just so much fire activity and such a long line of fire activity that fire crews on the ground and fire crews from the air are really having to throw everything they have at the entire fire line, because there's this flank of the fire that is kind of descending slowly down into Mandeville Canyon as we see this tanker prepare to make a drop, and there's the western side of the fire that has been flaring up a little bit as we've hit the noon hour and the 1 o'clock hour here now, and that flank of the fire has extended a few tens of acres to the west, which could be impacting places in Topanga Canyon that weren't affected by the earlier stretch of the fire, as you see that fire retardant drop there right in front of the high voltage lines. But going back to the communities on the western side, that area of Topanga Canyon, the northern part of Topanga Canyon hasn't quite yet been affected as of yet, and that looks to be kind of in the bullseye of the western flank of the fire right now that is moving due west. It doesn't appear to be moving further into the San Fernando Valley. It doesn't appear to be moving any further north than Mulholland Drive. Fire crews have a great fire break on Mulholland Drive. They have this really long dirt road. They have crews there. You can see right there at the middle of your screen, the flames haven't progressed past the crest of Mulholland Drive, and that's great news there. There's really, the dynamics of the weather and the topography right now are really favoring the lack of progression further to the north, and that's Encino, that's Tarzana. Not to say that everyone in those areas, that's the Encino Reservoir right there in the center of your screen where a lot of those fire helicopters are picking up water from. Not to say that anybody in Tarzana and Encino should be on high alert, if not, preparing to evacuate, if not already evacuated if you're in one of those mandatory evacuation zones. But I can report that the overall fire activity on the north end is that things are stopping at Mulholland Drive, and that's some good news there. So now fire crews can focus on the eastern flank of the fire, which is expanding to the in that direction, and the other side of the fire that we're on now, which is inching down further into Mandeville Canyon. So you have two active flanks of the fire that are putting up a lot of smoke, and that's something that fire crews are keeping their eye on right now. Thank you. Oh, that's a strong line right there. Simon Desk Booth 20 on station, 20 minutes on station. Yeah. Okay, copy. What happened? Okay. Really? Yeah, Giovanna and Philip, we've been keeping an eye on this eastern flank of the fire. We've seen the fire really kind of settle in on that hillside, slowly inching down into Mandeville Canyon. We've seen it kind of overtake these high voltage lines, a lot of these high voltage towers. We're trying to, I believe that on the right of your screen, that is Mandeville Canyon Road. So that those were the structures that we were looking at there. Sadly, we did lose a home already in Mandeville Canyon. It was a home that had a lot of shrubs surrounding it, so as soon as one of those shrubs caught, the home caught, and the whole thing was almost just as quickly as it started, a complete loss after that. So fire crews are trying to prevent that from continuing to happen. They are sending all of their air resources and sending calls out for more air resources into the area just because this fire continues to inch and inch further down into Mandeville Canyon. In the past couple of hours since we've been out here, we've seen it go from the very top of the hill and slowly inch its way down into the canyon, even after numerous water drops, numerous fire retardant drops, and so we're just continuing to see it continue to make that slow crawl down the mountain. Hopefully fire crews will continue to get all of their water dropping helicopters. I see two of them right now filling up in the Encino Reservoir, so they're going to bring some much needed water to this side. There's two flanks of this fire though that fire crews are keeping an eye on right now. You have the far western side of the fire, that's on the top of your screen. That has been flaring up pretty dramatically for most of the morning, and that actually started to make a run to the west in the direction of Topanga Canyon and homes in that area. So fire crews put a bunch of resources on that side. That is still continuing to be a focus in addition to the side of the fire that is on Mandeville Canyon. So both of those sides are a focus, but you can't have all of your resources on one side or the other. You have to split the resources. So you have some of the fire tanker helicopters like this one that's currently filling up in the Encino Reservoir right now. You have the other one, a sky crane, flying from right to left through the screen right there. They're making their way back to the active flanks of the fire. But you just have, it's astonishing after how many days we've been on this. There's still so much active fire right now. A lot of it is in, open brush and open areas of the Santa Monica Mountains, but flanks of this fire are finding ways to make themselves embedded in, first it was Sullivan Canyon, then it made its way up above Sullivan Canyon, and then it started inching down into Mandeville Canyon, and then you have now the almost the entire west side of Mandeville Canyon burned. and the fire continues to inch its way down as fire crews continue to call in for additional resources and have multiple helicopters come back into the area. We've seen those fire retardant tankers. We've seen a lot more helicopters right now. I think some of them are refueling or having to step away or swap out crews and things like that. They can only work for a number of hours before they have to, by regulation, switch out crews and have a different crew come in and replace them. So that's probably what's happening right now, and why earlier when we saw a traffic jam of water dropping helicopters continuing to drop water in Mandeville Canyon on the active flames on the western side of Mandeville Canyon, I'm only seeing 1 or 2 helicopters right now, and the tankers are doing the same thing. We saw the DC-10 tanker here earlier, the C-130 Hercules tanker here earlier, and they have departed to refuel and reload. They have to, go to a bigger airport and reload with that fire retardant. The DC-10 went over to San Bernardino. They're going to refuel there and hopefully come back. There's requests out for them to come back, so we're going to keep an eye on that. But the focus right now is going to be, and my pilot's just telling me that he's hearing from air traffic control that one of those tankers is on their way back right now. So we're going to see that continued presence, that continued aerial attack going on for the rest of the day here, really, because fire crews, they do not want this fire to get to the other side of Mandeville Canyon. If it does, we know that fire goes slowly downhill, but fire loves going uphill. If it can get to the other, booth. Yep. Okay, let's do it. Simon Desk here, 7, we're swapping choppers. The other one's powering up, and if the other one's powered up, I assume we're clear to head back to base, question mark? Yep. Back to base, back to base.